We have come to accept that video games and death go hand in hand. Watching someone get their head blown off or their gut sliced open is something that doesn't even faze most gamers anymore. While we may accept that death is a part of video games, most games treat a death scene as a cheap thrill to cover up their lack of plot or character development. This trend is noticed most in games that involve war. However, this report is not going to list the games that treat death as a quick fix. To do that would create a video that exceeds the attention span of any person. Instead, this report is going to showcase war games that use death in a way that forces the gamer to realize the brutality and end that death truly is.
To begin my analysis on games and casualty, first I'm going to describe to you what it is I'm doing. I'm dissecting these games and looking for substance underneath the intense graphics and death in casualty. And so the first game I've chosen is a game called Modern Warfare 2, and it's a first-person shooter. And in this scene, it's called No Russian. You are forced to walk. It's puts you in the mindset of a terrorist. It makes you do what a terrorist would. The man on your right is Makarov. He is a terrorist in the game. And I feel like this makes you question the morality of terrorism. And it has something underneath all this manslaughter in an airport. Nobody survives no matter what you do, if you kill him or if they kill him. But the next scene is the final scene of Modern Warfare 2, in which you are destroying General Shepard. What General Shepard did to you is he was your ally at the beginning of the game. He led you through all these missions, and then he turned on you, and he tried to kill you 2 times. So now you kill him, and I feel like this brings out emotion and anger and revenge.
You knew that I would be here. Who betrayed me? You're wasting your time, you fucking bastard, you! You won't get shit from me! God! Come on! Is that all you got? Huh? Fight! Kill it.
Here is a great example of what I'm trying to say, that games offer some substance underneath violence and casualty. Here you're offered a choice to betray the mission or save yourself and save your cover. And the man who gave you the gun you're undercover trying to kill him, trying to do stuff for him. And this man right here in front of you, who you have a gun pointed at his head, he's your teammate, but nobody knows. And you have to make a decision. And right there, he made a decision. And I feel that these games like this can purge emotions through this idea. This is the final clip of Black Ops 2, and this is the same man that you saw in the previous scene. This is ultimately where you are trying to kill him, and this is some ridiculous stuff right now, and you do some crazy combat things, stabbing him. But like the other scenes in Black Ops 2, you have a big choice now. What do you do? This man is a terrorist. He tried to kill you, and now you have a choice to shoot him or save him. And I feel that this is a great example of offering substance underneath violence and casualty in war.
Martyr me for Cordes EA. If it were up to me, you'd be with your sister right now.
Similar to Black Ops 2, there is a game called Skyrim, and it is a RPG game based in medieval times where there is a civil war between 2 factions. And in this game there are a plethora of choices that reshape the ending. No ending is the same. And this is right here is a clip of you taking a fort of the opposing faction. And in order to succeed in the civil war, you need to destroy all of the forts of the other faction and go on ridiculous quests. And I feel that Skyrim has this ability as well to offer some substance with casualty and death and war. Not only is it violent, but it's also very political. If you play the game long enough, you realize that both sides are wrong, and they're both unethical, and it challenges your moral values and your beliefs. My last game in my analysis of casualty and war is Civilization V, a real-time strategy game based on building up empires and conquering others. In this game, people get attached to their empires. You want to succeed. With this victory versus morality theme, you really question if you really win. I mean, you're destroying. Are you really winning when you obliterate the opponent? This game does a good job of encompassing the effects of sound and graphics to give you more of a clear sense of the destruction of war. It gives you challenge in maintaining your economy, happiness, and culture. There's examples of political manipulation and policy with other leaders. And I feel that along with this game and Skyrim and Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 2, this game has capabilities to purge us of emotions and question morality and ethics and offer some substance underneath the killing and destruction of war and casualty and death.
Given the sheer number of military-themed games on the market, it's astounding to think how few of them ask you to think about the effects of war. As movies and books continue to expertly tackle somber events, evasions, the atrocities within death camps, and other cruelties, most war video games simply focus on the heat of conflict. They throw you into the shoes of the ultimate soldier, with the sole aim of bagging sweet kills against armies of unwavering evil. You shoot, kill, and move on to your next target with not much in between. In strategy games, you kill, destroy, overwhelm your opponent, and move on. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with this. Obviously, these mechanics tend to be fun and can make a successful game. They do, however, demonstrate just how systematic the production of war-themed video games have become. Yes, they capture the cold, merciless nature of warfare, but none of the emotional or moral ramifications that other mediums also portray well. There are exceptions, of course. Spec Ops: The Line is an obvious nomination, masterfully dealing with themes of post-traumatic stress disorder, moral shades of gray, and the futility of choice.
It does absolutely nothing interesting. Macho military idiots stroll into a big brown desert and kill foreigners to rock music. It's extremely linear, extremely familiar, and extremely boring. It doesn't take long before the campaign breaks free from that, though. And in short order, Spec Ops stops looking like this, and starts looking a lot like this. And this, and this. Spec Ops evolves. Its aesthetic changes with its characters, who begin as cliches and end as entirely different people. By the end, these guys are bruised, bleeding, broken, lost, alone, and totally sick of each other. They endure as much physical trauma as they do psychological, and the weight of their decisions weighs on them as much as it does you. This isn't about an epic war, an apocalypse, terrorism, or patriotism. Spec Ops tells a small story in a grand fashion. And as the narrative unravels, it changes from a simple little rescue mission to a character study. The mission stops being the focus. It's just one of a ton of terrible things to happen to our degrading hero, Captain Walker. Eventually, Spec Ops stops having an agenda and starts waiting for you to find the answers. That's something special, not just in an army shooter, but in games in general.
However, another war game to pull out real emotional response was Ubisoft's Valiant Hearts: The Great War, which refreshingly does a few things differently to your average war adventure. Well, aside from not being a shooter or strategy game, of course. But most important, Valiant Hearts sets out to focus mostly not on World War I itself, but on the people directly affected by it. You're offered a glimpse into the main protagonist's pre-war lives during their introductions. Emile, a humble farmer and loving father, is recruited into the French army after his German son-in-law Karl gets deported and forced to fight on the opposite side. Given even a slight insight into each life, you're able to connect with the group far more than possible with your typical gruff war-weary protagonist. However, Valiant Hearts doesn't save the senseless cruelty for soldiers either. In cities and town, you see the effect war has on innocent civilians as they get gassed or bombed as you pass through, a mere inconvenience in both sides' quest for victory. You'll see the injured left for dead on the streets, people trapped in burning buildings, families separated in distress.
Splendid art direction. Playing it really feels like watching a wonderful piece of animation, and I was surprised at just how versatile the style is. Of course it shines at the beginning when asked to depict the splendour of rural France, but it's equally effective when tackling much more difficult environments. The trenches and the front in particular resemble scenes from hell, with thick smoke weighing down from above and piles of corpses providing cover. Its cartoon appearance never conceals the real horror of what's taking place. Similarly, the characters have much more depth than their flat appearance suggests. Set along the border of France and Germany, it tells the interlocking story of 5 protagonists, all touched by war. You spend time with each one, but it's the animation which brilliantly reveals so much about them. Barrel-chested Freddy struts into battle with the conviction of a man out for revenge. Emile has a more downtrodden gait that betrays his weariness.
For my first example, I am looking at the Stronghold series. When you send your soldiers out to battle in the game Stronghold Legends, you can hear the sounds of the battle. These sounds include arrows flying and metal clanking, but the most important sound is why I chose this game. You can hear the men as they cry out their death rattle. As you can see, even when you scroll away from the battle, the sounds continue. There is no way to escape the noise. Another game in this series is Stronghold Crusaders 2, which just released in September. Seeing as this game was released more recently, you would expect the quality of emotions the fighting produced to be the same or even better. However, that is not the case. The screams, while still there, are muted and almost non-existent in the entire sounds of the battle. Therefore, look at the older Stronghold games for a more solid example of games involving emotions with death. For the second game that I chose, I decided to go with Battlefield 3. The particular mission that I am choosing is Mission 2, Operation Swordbreaker. Throughout the mission, the squad members talk and share personal information about themselves. During this time, you develop bonds with the members of your squad as you become closer. However, just as you get to know your squad, a member is shot right in front of you. As you can see, your fellow soldier gets taken out by a sniper as soon as they walk outside. The clip is shot in slow motion, and his blood is splashed across your screen. You are the one that has to pull him to safety under heavy fire. As soon as you pull him to safety, you don't get a chance to check on him or see if he's okay. You immediately have to go into battle. This is an example of a game that backs up their death with emotions because it forces you to learn about these guys right before they die. They're not just another faceless soldier that dies in battle. The final game that I chose for this project is Medal of Honor. In this game, I chose the D-Day Beaches of Normandy mission. I chose this mission because I believe that the Medal of Honor series did it justice to how truly horrible the day was. In the beginning of the shot, you are introduced to a fellow soldier sitting next to you on the boat. While all the other soldiers have a look of determination, this soldier shows fear and uneasiness. Once the battle starts, just like in Stronghold, you can hear the screams of the other soldiers dying all around you. At this point, the boat front is lowered and immediately your fellow soldiers in front of you get mowed down by enemy fire. The battle continues with your fellow soldiers dying all around you. When you look around, however, you can see the same scared guy from the boat following behind you. This continues until you see him get shot down as well. Then the medic stops saving his life to give you a healing pack. I chose this game because it made you become friends with your fellow soldiers, only to have them be killed in front of you. This is different than most games, where they just kill multiple faceless soldiers all around you. In conclusion, these are all games that buck the trend of mindless death and war and provides substance and emotions throughout.